The Minister of Labour and Employment, Dr. Chris Ngige, has commenced a conciliatory meeting with the national state government and labour unions. The minister warned that workers in the state will face dire consequences if their industrial action is found not to have taken due process. Dr. Chris Ngige gave an assurance that the government will remain fair to all sides in resolving the dispute. Our correspondent, Omelogo Nadi, reports.
This is the second attempt by the Minister of Labour and Employment, Dr. Chris Ngige, to wade into the standoff between Nasarawa State Government and the National Labour Union and workers in the state over unpaid salaries and the downward review of workers' salaries in the state. This time, unlike in the previous attempt, the parties involved in the dispute are present at this meeting. The minister, who expressed his intention to resolve the industrial dispute, says both sides must present their cases first towards a resolutive dialogue. He, however, warns that no sides will be protected.
We protect both the employers and the employee. Therefore, if in the course of a submission we discover that the workers in Nasarawa State did not take the procedural steps for embarking on a strike, that has its own implication.
The Attorney General of the state submits that the state government has reverted to the salary structure that was in operation before the dispute arose.
The governor, less than 24 hours after getting the interim order of the National Human Rights Commission, directed the suspension of the disputed salary table.
The president of the Labour Congress, Mr. Ayuba Waba, however, says that state government submission must be authenticated first and binding agreements signed.
We have a due process, so I think once that is authenticated by Federal Minister of Labour, we can also write an interim understanding that can then put this issue into context.
The Labour Minister says the resolutory meetings, which will not exceed 2 weeks, will come in 3 phases. An executive session with the Nasarawa State Government to understand their intention and plan of action, full consultation with the labour unions, and a final reconciliatory meeting to harmonise agreements. Omelogo Nadi, Channels Television News.
You're watching the news at 10. Time now for sports news with Charles Eruka.
Welcome to Sports News. Nigeria coach Gernot Rohr has held his first training with the Super Eagles in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State ahead of Saturday's 2017 African Cup of Nations qualifier against Tanzania. The German tactician came along with Everson Ferreira, Jean-Luc Royer and Nabil Trabelsi, who will serve as his technical assistants for the duration of his stay in Nigeria. The match is a formality as both countries failed to qualify after Egypt picked the sole ticket to the continental tournament. Elsewhere, Belgian club KAA Ghent have announced the signing of Nigerian international Rabiu Ibrahim from Slovakian champions AS Trenčín. The attacking midfielder signed a 3-year contract with the club after he passed a routine medical. Rabiu was once touted as one of the most exciting youngsters in the world after starring at the 2007 FIFA Under-17 World Cup, where Nigeria won the competition for the 3rd time. He later earned a move to Sporting Lisbon, PSV Eindhoven, Celtic and Kilmarnock. The 25-year-old will join compatriot Moses Simon at the club. And in England, Manchester City striker Sergio Aguero has been charged with violent conduct by the English Football Association for elbowing West Ham's Winston Reid. Aguero could face a 3-match ban, including City's Premier League clash with Manchester United on September the 10th and Bournemouth on September the 17th. The 28-year-old would also miss the EFL Cup 3rd round game against Swansea. Referee Andre Mariner did not see the 76th-minute incident during City's 3-1 win on Sunday, and the FA has decided to take retrospective action after reviewing television footage. Meanwhile, England captain Wayne Rooney will end his career for country after the 2018 World Cup in Russia. The 30-year-old made his announcement at a news conference ahead of the World Cup qualifier against Slovakia on Sunday, when he'll set a new record for an England outfield player ahead of David Beckham by winning his 116th cap. Rooney, who is England's record scorer with 53 goals, says his mind is made up on his decision. And in tennis now, Japan's Kei Nishikori beat Benjamin Becker 6-1, 6-1, 3-6, 6-3 to advance to the second round of the US Open on the second day of action in the last Grand Slam of the year. Bulgaria's Grigor Dimitrov also advanced to the next round with a comfortable 6-2, 6-4, 7-6 win over 76th ranked Inigo Cervantes of Spain. Swiss tennis star Stanislas Wawrinka defeated Fernando Verdasco 7-6, 6-4, 6-4, while David Ferrer had little to do as Alexander Dolgopolov retired early due to injury. In the women's event, Simona Halep defeated Kirsten Flipkens 6-love, 6-2, while Anna Ivanovic lost 7-6, 6-1 to Enisa Alertova of the Czech Republic. That's game, set and match on Sports News, and back to Gimba with the rest of the news at 10.
The death toll has risen to 22 from a major blast near the presidential palace in the Somali capital, Mogadishu. Those wounded, 30 of them, have been rushed to the hospital. Authorities said that the attack was probably targeted at a hotel frequented by government officials and foreigners nearby.
A car bomb claimed by Al-Shabaab Islamist militants killed 5 soldiers outside the presidential palace in the Somali capital of Mogadishu and badly damaged 2 nearby hotels, police said on Tuesday, August 30. Reuters witnesses said gunfire could be heard after the explosion and a huge cloud of smoke could be seen above the president's palace, outside which were the remnants of the car and splattered blood. Al-Qaeda-linked Al-Shabaab has claimed responsibility for several recent explosions in Mogadishu, including a car bomb and gun attack last week at a popular beach restaurant in the capital that killed 10 people. Al-Shabaab's radio, Andalus, said the group was behind the attack. In a separate incident, Al-Shabaab fighters attacked military bases housing government and African Union troops southwest of the capital, Mogadishu, late on Monday. Al-Shabaab's military operations spokesman, Abdiaziz Abu Musab, said the group's fighters had killed 10 soldiers and commandeered a vehicle from the Somali government soldiers. The militants were pushed out of Mogadishu by the African Union Peacekeeping Force, AMISOM, in 2011, but have remained a serious threat, launching frequent attacks aimed at overthrowing the government. Seeking to impose its own harsh form of Islam, Al-Shabaab has also launched attacks in Kenya and Uganda, which have contributed troops to the 22,000-strong AMISOM force.
Meanwhile, the suicide bomber detonated explosives when he smashed through the gates of the Chinese embassy in Kyrgyzstan's capital, Bishkek. The suicide bomber was killed in the incident, but 3 embassy employees were injured, none of them Chinese. China has condemned the attack, demanding the host country takes all necessary measures to ensure the safety of Chinese institutions and personnel in Kyrgyzstan. And the main news again. The Bring Back Our Girls group today asked the federal government to take full charge of the process for the rescuing of the girls. The group made the call ahead of another abortive protest march to the presidency today with their mouths taped. Also today, the founder of social media site Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, flew into Lagos, Nigeria unannounced. Mr. Zuckerberg visited the Yaba Technology Hub and a summer coding camp for children, both in Lagos. And also today, in Somalia, a bomb blast near the presidential palace killed 22 people in the capital, Mogadishu. Militant group Al-Shabaab has claimed responsibility. And that's how it's been on the news at 10 tonight. I want to thank you so much indeed for being a part of it. On behalf of everyone here, have a splendid night rest. Good night.
This